I'm Simon Rosenberg with NDN. We're kicking off this conference today. We'll be going all the way till 6 o'clock, and then there'll be a reception afterwards. We're grateful that you're all here, and I want to start by just thanking the NDN staff who've worked very, very hard to put this together, particularly Peter Leiden and Tracy Lehman, who really worked diligently to pull off this conference. I want to thank all of you for being here, for caring enough about your country, that you've taken the time to think about some big ideas that we're going to try to put on the table today. And I want to make sure, for those of you who don't know NDN that well, that we are a think tank and advocacy organization based here in Washington, D.C. that has a simple argument to make about the world, which is that we think that a new era of politics is dawning in America. It's being driven by large changes that are bigger than politics itself. The arrival of a new demography in the United States that is changing the physical people that are here, the emergence of a whole new media and technology construct that's changing the way that we all communicate and advocate. And third, and what we'll be spending most of the day here talking about today, is the emergence of a new governing agenda that's very 21st century in its orientation, that is bringing about new and daunting challenges that we all need to meet together. And what we'll be really focusing on today is really mostly about this idea that there is a new 21st century governing agenda that we need to reorient our politics around. The fourth thing that has taken place that is really causing a new era or a new politics in the United States is the ideological and political collapse of the conservative movement. For most of my adult lifetime, the driving force in American life and politics was really the story of American life and American politics was the rise of the conservatives and the Republicans, their allied, the Republicans, the decline of the progressives and the Democrats. But I think in 2006, that story, that era of politics, the conservative ascendancy, we call it, came to an end. And we really are now seeing the opportunity to build a whole new political era. And that's really what we're doing here today to talk about. And what we're seeing in this election, if you sort of take a step back, is you're beginning to see what American politics will look like in the 21st century. If you look at the Democratic field for president, we had a Hispanic American from the Southwest. We had Senator Clinton, the first very serious female candidate for president. We had, obviously, Barack Obama, the first serious African American candidate for president. And also, John Edwards, who's a populist from the New South. Those four candidates look like the demography of 21st century America. And you're really going to see, I think, much more going forward, presidential fields that look like that field than look like the Republican field, for example, which was felt like it could have been right out of Leave It to Beaver in 1950s America. The second thing is that we've seen the growth of this new media and new technology to fundamentally change the way, and Morley Winograd and Mike Hayes are going to be talking about this quite a bit at lunch, change the way that people relate to politics. This sort of bottom-up revolution, the ability, with the new tools that are out and available today, it's much easier for average Americans to engage in their democracy and politics. And what I think we're seeing is what we call the beginning of a virtuous cycle of participation, right? You're seeing more people taking steps to getting involved in politics. You're seeing campaigns then being built around this sort of lowering the barrier to entry to get into the game. Then you're seeing those tools then bring more people in. Those people then are bringing in more people. You're seeing more money be raised, $100 million being raised by the Obama and Clinton campaigns, which are allowing them to build sort of unprecedentedly large mobilizing forces to even involve more people. And I think what's being created is a whole virtuous cycle of participation in politics now being driven by the emergence of all these new tools and the ability for average people to get in the game of politics as we've never seen. And I would say that, again, on this measure, the Democrats are way ahead of their opponents in adopting a new model, this more people-based bottom-up model that is clearly the emerging model of politics in the post-broadcast age of politics. The third thing that I think you're beginning to see in this election is the reorienting of our public conversation around these emerging challenges that we're going to talk about today. Obviously, the great challenge of climate change and energy independence, how we're going to construct a foreign and homeland security policy suited to the challenges of the 21st century, how we're going to restore broad-based prosperity in an age of globalization and an ideas-based economy, how we're going to ensure that our workers and kids have the skills they need to compete in this new economy, because I think we're at the point now in the early part of the 21st century where you can no longer imagine the life success of any child in America or in the world without access to this global communications network and the facility to use it. We're seeing a big change in the way we have to think about how we're educating and equipping our kids and our workers in the 21st century. We have to fix our broken immigration system. We have to create a healthcare system that covers everyone, is more affordable, yet continues to promote the innovation that is improving the lives of so many people here and around the world. These are daunting challenges, everybody. I mean, these are serious things that we've got to do in the next 10 to 20 years. But as we look to meet these challenges, and that's why we're here today, to begin a long and sustained conversation with our family and friends about these challenges, let's just remind ourselves what our ideological forebears were able to accomplish in the 20th century, right? Think about what FDR, the liberals, the Democrats, those, the left of center, whatever their labels were, you know, that we were able to save the world from fascism and led the 20th century fight against totalitarianism. We rescued America from the Great Depression, saving capitalism along the way. We built our current structure of global governance and security, which has kept the world relatively safe and prosperous, and has helped dozens of nations and billions of people achieve greater levels of democracy and liberty, right? And here at home, we've made our great nation even more just by creating social insurance and leading the civil rights, women's rights, environmental, consumer, and immigration rights movements, right? That is no small set of accomplishments that we had in the 20th century, and certainly ones that should be inspiring us as we begin to orient our politics around tackling similar challenges in the 21st. So as we look to build this new politics that we talk about a lot, that engage the people of the 21st century using new and much more powerful tools that are helping renew our democracy, to help organize them to tackle these new challenges of the 21st century, I stand here today very confident that we are going to be able to meet these challenges, my friends, because our movement and our nation has tackled even greater and more daunting challenges in the past. And I'm confident that with strong leadership, grit, and determination, that we will be able to do this together, because I know today, as I stand here, that we've done it before, and I'm confident that we can do it again. So we're here today. I want to thank you all for coming at this important time in our history. I now want to welcome Peter Leiden, a senior advisor to NDN, and the head of our affiliate, the New Politics Institute, to the stage, where he'll be talking a little bit about what we're going to do today. Thanks for coming, everybody.